Hello and welcome to Discovering Grayslake, unveiling the stories and people that make our town so unique. I'm your host, David Woll, and I'm thrilled to bring you this new podcast that explores fascinating stories and experiences of local business owners and community leaders, right here where we call home. Grayslake Rehabilitation Center is a community-based private practice physical therapy provider. Do you know they have 13 clinical providers with various levels of specialties, including orthopedics, sports, neurology, vestibular, geriatrics, pelvic floor, and aquatic? What? Did I just say they have a pool? Well, they do, and it's the largest indoor warm water pool in Lake County, featuring 2 underwater treadmills and swim currents. And recently added clinical treatment specialties, in layman's terms, shockwave. They have both radial and focus units that are the newest tool in regenerative medicine, available to everyone. They pride themselves on the most current and up-to-date specialized care to keep you moving. If you're looking for physical therapy, make sure to see our friends at Grayslake Rehabilitation. 1 minute, your world is normal. The next, it's gone. A flood, a fire, a crime scene. Your home shattered. Your business shut down. Your life on pause. But in the darkest hour, when chaos knocks at your door, that's when Serve Pro of Northwest Lake County shows up. Not just a company, not just a cleanup crew, but neighbors, parents, coaches, locals who care. Drake and his team aren't just restoring properties. They're restoring peace, restoring dignity, restoring lives. So when your worst day arrives, call the oh no guy who becomes your thank God guy. Serve Pro of Northwest Lake County. Locally owned, nationally known, unshakably trusted. From devastation to restoration. Serve Pro, Northwest Lake County. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to yet another episode of Discovering Grayslake. I am here at the Loop Marketing. Shout out to my buddy Eli for letting me record here. Appreciate it. So after the restraining orders have been lifted and there's been a lot of harassment charges, I'm sitting with Ryan Curtis. Ryan, how are you, buddy?
Charges dismissed.
Charges dismissed. Good.
I think we've dropped them.
Okay, good. So now you've heard it. Now it's recorded, so it's legit. It's totally legit. So we were just talking before we hit record. So it's been a little bit since you said yes, because I think the first episode I did about 2 years ago with Pruitt said, we got to talk to Ryan. And I think I could probably called you that day.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it's been 864 days to...
It's a long chase.
It's a long chase. Well, let's hope the juice is worth the squeeze. Right?
We'll see. I don't know. You might regret it.
Right. So one of the things we were talking about that because everybody in town knows you, but it's funny that you said you don't like microphones. You don't like to be the center of attention.
No, this silver thing in my face is a little intimidating, to be honest. No, I mean, I like to be around. I like to help. I don't want to be the guy on a stage. That's terrifying. I leave that for Mike, for Joyce before him.
Yeah.
Greg Henkin, who you also interviewed, another great man on stage.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite humans on the planet too.
He's a fantastic dude. If you guys don't know any of these people, go back and listen to their podcasts because wonderful. And I didn't know anything about Greg, and then I got to meet him. I was fascinated.
Dude, you could probably have 6 podcasts with Greg and never get to anything close to the end of it. He's going to hate that I said that.
No, exactly. Well, we'll make sure. And you better be listening, Greg. You better at least text one of us and tell us who you are. All right, so let's go back because I love it, and I say it at most of the end of the show is about, hey, if you don't know this person, it's good to listen. So if you guys don't know Ryan Curtis, you're going to get to know a little bit about him today. Fascinating to me that, we're just rewind to talk about, because you've become a big part of our community, whether that was intentional or accidental. But I want to kind of go through that story of, let's just talk about growing up. You didn't move to Grayslake till like 5th grade, right?
Yeah, moved to the Grayslake area. It was actually around Lake Beach. Went to Avon for 5th grade, and then GMS through what was then Grayslake High School. I'm dating myself.
Yes. So there's only Grayslake High School then.
It was only Grayslake High School.
All right. Yeah. So go to Grayslake High School, and then CLC after that?
It was CLC after that, yeah.
Why did you go to CLC? Is there something you wanted to study there?
No, to be honest, it's mostly a money thing. Mm-hmm. I had a half-ride scholarship for academics. I looked at what the cost was for the other half, and said no thank you, because that was all going to be on me. So then I took CLC, looking at accounting and finance classes, not really my bag, which is funny given what I do now.
Looking for a car dealer that actually feels like your hometown? Welcome to City Chevrolet of Grayslake, where the vibe is friendly, the pressure is off, and you'll always be treated like family. Meet Anthony Scala. He's just not the owner. He's a guy that grew up in the car business, worked his way from porter to owner. Anthony believes in people first. That's why City Chevy sponsors your kids' teams, your town events. And matter of fact, this show, they give back every chance they get. Anthony thinks that the experience of buying a car should be fun. No pressure, just honest people who care. Whether you need a new Chevy, a quality used car, or just service you can trust, City Chevy is here for you. Come visit City Chevrolet of Grayslake right off of 120. And thank you for sponsoring our town, our stories, our voice. Let's get after it, Grayslake.
Just was working during the day and going to school at night, paying for it as I went along. So,
what kind of work did you do?
At that time,
Yeah.
I started out in a warehouse out in Waukegan, packing boxes, and then eventually went up into their it's a company called USA Blue Book. Went into the customer service department, went into the accounting department before Joyce rescued me.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so let's talk about how do you meet Joyce Campbell?
Oh, God. So that actually goes back to high school, where I meet her youngest son, Scott, who you probably learned about in the podcast with Joyce. Scott and I were really good friends. We would go over for junior and senior lunch option just about every day over to their house. And Scott always used to say, we've got these freezers full of steaks and burgers, and they're just piling up, and my mom needs somebody to come eat them, and you're a high school kid. So you're like, sure, I'll go eat free steaks.
It's a great idea.
So we'd show up, and whether it was her or her husband, Jeff, would have the George Foreman already going, and we would just basically eat all of Joyce's food for 2 years. And I didn't know anything about her at that stage. This is pre-Oasis. This is pre all of that stuff. And I just knew that she was cool. Like, she was this lady who knew what she was doing. She was in charge. She walked into the room and everybody paid attention to her. And I used to tell Scott every single day, I'm going to work for her one day. I'm going to work for her one day. I had no clue what she did. Nothing. If you would have asked me at 16, 17 years old, what is, State Farm? Like, what is she about? Like, I don't know. She was a cool lady that knew what she was doing. She was in charge and everybody respected her. So then for years I would say, I'm going to work for her. I'm going to work for her. And she'd be like, no. And then one day, I'm over at their house, and she's got this bug in her ear about getting a youth center started. At that point, we didn't have a name for it, and she's going through thinking through how we're going to make it work just from a labor standpoint, and she gets this brilliant idea. Ryan wants to work for me. You can work during the day in my office, and then when we're knocking down brick walls afterwards, you can go over there and swing a sledgehammer and help tear down the inside of the old Park District building and turn it into something. So then I start working for her during the day and beating down brick walls in the evenings.
You should better be careful what you ask for.
Yeah,
right? You didn't know what capacity she was going to put
If you
in.
know Joyce, you know the word voluntold. And I think she may have been the original user of that particular word.
So everything I hear about Joyce, when you say the voluntold stuff,
Yeah.
it seems like she, because I really wish when she was around her that I knew her so much better, because
Yeah.
it seems like her, I guess the best word I can think of is she's like an infectious personality, and she really drew people and brought the best out of people and could
Yeah.
put the right people together, right, to get shit done.
Yeah, always. And she has a way about her. You don't tell her no. Even to this day, I talk to her, pretty much every other day. if she asks me to get on a plane to come to Phoenix to come see her tomorrow, like chances are with, how good our relationship is, I'm on the plane tomorrow. And I'm probably not the only one. She could probably do that to you.
Probably. Well, I would have to listen to her, right?
Well, it's Mama Joyce. You have to. There's no choice.
That's how. So you were involved in that, like really, the Oasis very early. Then.
Yeah. And weirdly enough, and we talked about this a little bit earlier. Looking back, there was a team of high school students that wrote the business plan for that.
Okay, was it her idea and then the kids wrote the business plan? Or
the kids wrote the business plan as the idea, and then she happened to be involved enough in that class, and then she's the one that took it and ran with it.
That's awesome.
So it started out as a PSP, a public service practicum, I think is what it's called, class project that had a group of kids on it that came up with this idea. And then Joyce was involved helping Dustin Cherico with that class, another guy that might actually be really fascinating for you to talk to.
Absolutely.
And that she just took the business plan for it and she ran with it.
That's awesome. Let me pause you for a second, because anybody that's listening doesn't know Oasis. I maybe new to Grayslake or something.
Yeah.
What did that business plan entail? What was the idea?
So it was a nonprofit teen center. So it was a safe place for people to, between the ages of 12 and 18, generally speaking, to go. And that would be, just open to whoever wanted to be there for, within guidelines, whatever they wanted to do, Monday through Friday, during the days after school.
We're taking a quick break just to say hello, because everybody knows Nano, and Nano knows real estate. And actually, I believe that's the name of her Instagram page. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or know somebody in the market for a home, contact Nano from Baird & Warner. She's a Grayslake girl helping out Grayslake people.
And then we would host shows for bands Friday nights and Saturday nights.
Is that something you were into? Or you
local music? No, that was not my thing.
Okay.
I didn't know anything about it. I was a fish out of water. That's Greg. Greg was the guy that knew all of that stuff. And man, did he knock that part out of the park.
Wow. So you get involved with that. These high school students come up with a business plan. Joyce gets a hold of it and does it.
Yeah.
And then you're obviously automatically helping out.
Because she told me to.
Right.
I didn't have a choice.
That's why I didn't know if that was like, I really believe in this, we have to do it. But at that point, you just...
Yeah, I mean, of course I believe, right? I believe that it is a worthwhile venture, and it just also would never occur to me to tell her no.
Sure.
So it's both.
Wow. Okay, so what year are we talking there? Do you know?
Oh, God, this would have been right around 2007-ish,
okay.
I want to say.
All right.
I think that's when we opened. So I think that's the year I started working for her too. So,
and the stories I've heard about the Oasis is that, like you're talking about the demolition and everything, is like that was a lot of voluntold people.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, and some genuinely like angels of human beings. The Montoris helped out. I don't know if you've talked with Jeff or Sarah, but I couldn't tell you how much they put into that. Guy by the name of John Stykes, who has since passed, wonderful human, helped build, like after we destroyed the building, he helped us put it back together. Worked side by side with that man for many hours trying to put things together. But that group of people that helped out with that particular project. Like I look around the community today, and so many of them I know because of the Oasis in one way, shape, or form, right? Either from fundraising or, beating our knuckles against the walls. It was an entire army of humans that made that happen.
And that's how I look at things, and it's like it builds culture, right? And that
absolutely
the idea of that, the teamwork of that, everybody coming together, that kind of explains our town a lot too, right? And how it's really shaped things.
Right. And Joyce used to say this too, but and I don't mean to make this entire thing about her,
but
she
deserves it anyway. But
of course she does. But she always used to say, this doesn't happen in any other town. you don't get this level of community anywhere else. I mean, look around from, not to disparage any other town,
Right.
but find one like Grayslake.
Right.
I don't know that there is one around here anyway. We always call it Mayberry, and sometimes it kind of feels that way.
Yeah, and it's the people, right? And it really is the people. I love that the way that the Oasis is spoken of and how everything happened, even now that it's gone.
Yeah,
Right?
It's wild to me.
It's
That's
really cool.
wild. I mean, we're almost on 5 years now that it's been gone.
See, it seems even longer than that to me for some reason.
And it may be a little bit longer than that.
Yeah,
But
and anybody that doesn't know where the Oasis was,
it's a parking lot now, next to the Freeze,
yeah,
across the street from the fire department.
right, which was before that was the Park District building.
Park
That's what I
District
always
building,
remember,
and
is the Park
then
District building.
Before that, at one point, it was the police department, and I
Right.
think among other uses, manufacturing building at some point.
Wow. So that you agreeing to work with Joyce and doing all these things built these lifelong friendsprips that you
Absolutely,
have now, right?
yeah. I mean, people that I met there are still huge parts of my life today.
Wow.
My wife being one of them.
Right.
Probably the most important of
I
them.
was going to say,
Yeah.
now tell everybody how did you meet your wife?
So I met her by being involved with the Oasis. Talked earlier about the kids that wrote the business plan. She was one of those kids. It's all these years later. It's funny to think that the random chance that is that business plan being written in a class that, butterfly effect all the way into my entire life.
Yes.
And if she doesn't write that business plan, I'm not sure that, any of what has happened leads us to this moment today.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's wild.
Right. Okay, so did you know her? Did you meet her then when the Oasis was?
I knew of her in high school, and then when we started in earnest to do big fundraisers, she came onto the board with me for the Oasis, and just got to know her that way. Started hanging out, start dating. The rest is history. Yeah.
Wow. So that time when you met her, that's when you decided that you wanted to have your own insurance place, and that's exactly what you want to do for the rest of your life.
Nope, not even close. Not even close. No, I mean, even at that moment, I still didn't really know what I wanted to be when I grew up. I had already achieved what I said I wanted in high school. I got to work for Joyce.
Right.
I mean, that was the only goal that I had at that stage. It really was.
So you had told me that at one point you wanted to be a policeman?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And, I had been working towards that, in and amongst the other things that I was doing. And I don't know, have you ever talked with Chief Larry Herzog, retired?
I have not, but I would love to talk to
Oh,
Larry.
he'd be a phenomenal conversation
yes,
for
I'm
you.
writing some notes down here.
No, for sure.
Too.
I talked with him through that process to try to help figure out, what that all looks like. And then eventually I go through the process and get hired on as a sheriff's deputy out in McHenry County,
Really?
patrolling the mean streets of McHenry County. So for a little shy of a year, I was a police officer out in McHenry County. Yeah.
And you didn't like it?
I couldn't say that I didn't like it. It's certainly a stressful job. I admire the hell out of the people that do it well.
Amen.
It happened at a time in my life that was a little bit of an upheaval. The day I graduated the academy, I found out that my dad had cancer.
Yeah.
So that threw me for a loop. My dad was my best friend. The most influential individual that I've had in my entire life. And Joyce would be second, but I don't even know that it's a close second. He was a hell of a man. The type of guy that if somebody didn't like him, it was a problem with them, not a problem with him. Genuine angel of a man that would help anybody with anything for any reason, because it was the right thing to do.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry to hear about his passing. That's tough because you and I have that in common. My mom was my best friend, and
Yeah.
but things like that happen change your whole life, change the way you look at everything, right? And obviously change the direction of your life that you wanted to take.
It absolutely did. Yeah. I mean, you cannot patrol streets with a distracted mind, right? You need to be on point all the time, right? That was not me. So I went back to work for Joyce because that was an available option to me. And I was early enough in my life and my career that was workable. And she took me back with open arms. God bless her. She didn't have to. She'd already gotten herself rid of me. She already did her work. But I went back to work for her and had the next 2 years, which ended up being the last 2 years of my dad's life. I worked for her, and every day that he was available to do it, Joyce would always let me go spend lunch with him and go out to lunch with him and spend time with him. And those 2 years, looking back, are not possible without the freedoms that I had. And man, did we make the most of them.
That is awesome to hear.
So.
Yeah. And I hope that's inspiring to somebody listening right now, that how important time is, right? Because it's the only thing that we can't get more of.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like the way your father raised you, and talking about helping people and everything, that the things that you've done in your life, from Oasis stuff to even your job and insurance stuff, that you genuinely care about helping people.
No, absolutely. I mean, I fell by accident into the job that I have because it fell in line with the life experiences I was going through at the time, and helping my own family through really tough times emotionally. It made me more passionate about what I was doing for a job, to do that for other people. Right. I was learning it firsthand. I was experiencing it firsthand. It was no longer the thing that I was supposed to do because I was getting a paycheck. It was a thing that I felt like I had to do because who else is going to help people, right?
Hey neighbors, this is Bill Mock with the Grayslake Chamber of Commerce. And if you're looking for a network of hard-working, customer-focused, and generally friendly local businesses who are dedicated to helping each other succeed, then I'd like to invite you to check out and consider joining our Grayslake Chamber. We offer our members so many ways to advance their businesses through social networking events, special event sponsorships, informative lunch and learns, and the ever-popular after-hours mixers. Come see why we say we're the new wave of business here in Lake County.
This is Bob Churchill. I know you are always there for your family, caring for your children, your spouse, and even your parents. But in critical times, will you be able to make decisions that assure the best result for your family? A power of attorney may be necessary if, on behalf of a loved one, you need to talk to a doctor, a bank, or the college infirmary. A power of attorney may sound daunting, but the lawyers at Churchill, Quinn, Hamilton, and Van Doncelar can easily create this document for you. We are right here in Grayslake, supporting the community for over 122 years. Reach out to us at grayslakelaw.com or call us at 847-223-1500. Whether you need a power of attorney, a will, or legal help with your business, we'll take care of you so you can care for others. Go to grayslakelaw.com today for more information. Have a wonderful day, and now back to the program.
Very well put. And I love that all these things are kind of accidental, right?
Yeah, none of this is on purpose. Absolutely none of this is on purpose. I'm not that forward thinking, I guess.
Right.
I didn't plan any of that out. But happy accident, right? And it's a Bob Ross thing.
Right. Amen. And I think that also is that we don't always have to have a plan, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes things just fall in the right place. But also that's putting yourself in front of the right people, right?
Yeah.
And surrounding yourself with good people that will help you and motivate you.
And doing good things where you can for good people.
Yeah. And people always think, like the more things that, I always preach about random acts of kindness and doing nice things for people. They really do come back.
Yeah.
They really, and sometimes when you're in your darkest, most desperate hour and you don't feel like and you surround yourself with the right people, accidentally these little things just keep falling in place, but you do have to have faith and keep moving forward.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Hats off to you, because you went through a lot of stuff at that time,
right?
I
mean, and everybody does. I am under no illusion that I'm unique in that. I know that everybody goes through that at some point in their life, and I was blessed. I've got on my arm the tattoo that I have. I had my dad for 9,609 days, and I cherish every single one of those.
That is awesome.
And we can all have a similar count for the people that are in our lives, and we need to cherish every single one of them.
Wow. That is fantastic.
So,
you've had some very important people in your life, that's for sure.
I have a few, yeah.
And some big shoes to fill as well.
The choices were quite small, but they were very active.
So when she left town, that must have been hard for you too, right?
Yes and no, because she and I still talk all the time. So in some ways, it's like she didn't leave town. Mm-hmm. Whether she wants to be rid of me or not, she can't hide anymore.
Nice.
But yeah.
Okay, so Oasis, and that ran its course, right? So how many years? When did the Oasis close?
It was like almost immediately pre-COVID.
Okay.
It's in some of it is technology. Where kids could decentralize where they were hanging out. They didn't need a centralized place to be as much anymore. So the popularity of it amongst the target market kind of deteriorated.
Sure.
But everything has its own life cycle. And it was there for when it was needed.
Right.
And that was for about 12 years or so. Maybe I could be off on the time.
Yeah, that's a long
She'll
time.
text me and correct me later, I'm sure.
Well, then she's listening.
Yeah, exactly.
The thing that I love about that too is that we talk about like how times change in technology. Like the concept written by those high school kids that wrote that, no one. I mean, maybe somebody would want to write that today.
Yeah.
At the times we live in, maybe it would work, but
tactically that approach, that model, I don't think is currently viable. But strategically, kids are still kids, right? They still need
safe places
to exist and to be themselves and not feel like they have to be, fit into a specific mold. I don't know what that looks like.
Very well put. It makes me feel really old that like those are like the good old days when we used to have a place for people to like hang out and do things.
Yeah.
But one of the questions I used to ask people all the time is like, which is we can answer now too as well, is like, what is it? We have all these great things in Grayslake, but what does Grayslake need? And a lot of people have said safe places for kids to hang out, something maybe a little adapted to an Oasis kind of place, right? That's what kids do in town, right? Go to the pool.
Yeah.
Ride their e-bikes down the middle of the street doing wheelies.
Those things are fast, aren't they?
You should see mine. I am following the rules, though, folks. Until somebody's like, no, Dave, we saw you driving down the road the other day.
Doing wheelies.
Right. No wheelies for me. But no, it's an interesting thing for kids.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to pivot because it seems like from what I've learned from you, because the other thing that I think everybody listening needs to know that we have a lot of mutual friends, especially one being
a handful. Yeah.
So. But not knowing each other very well, it's fun to meet people that are community-driven or really want to give back.
Yeah.
So, and I know that you're involved in chamber stuff and all these other things. I want to know, so you're doing all these things. When do they coerce you into, or how do you fall into other community service things like chamber and other organizations?
Yeah, really at the fall of, that sounds overly dramatic, of the Oasis. When the Oasis ceases to be a thing and that cause isn't there to fight for, I'm still driven by the same motivations. I still want to do good in the neighborhood that I'm in, right? Mm-hmm. So that led me to the opportunity to join the chamber. And then be asked to be on the board. And that's been wonderful. And I did the same thing with the Exchange Club too, the Grayslake Exchange Club. Did my stint on the board there as well. I don't think it matters what organization you're a part of. In fact, you have shown personally that you don't need to be a part of an organization to do that. I just think what's important is that people find outlets. If you do have the passion and the desire, that people do find an outlet to give back to their community. That doesn't necessarily have to be Grayslake, right? That could be your online community. That could be anything, really.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people want to, maybe don't know how to in a lot of ways. You think about we say how great our chamber is and the Exchange Club and all these people involved, but comparatively speaking, with the 20,000+ people that live in our town, there's not that many people involved, and I know that maybe they're helping in other ways of things. But it seems like the Exchange Club and all these things, I meet the same.
It's the same cast of characters because that's the way that they've chosen to engage, right? Those are the people who have said, this is my method of, giving back to my community. Right. And their community happens to be Grayslake, right? That's their defined community. Yeah.
It's crazy. So you just jumped right onto the board with the chamber. What was your
sort of like head first, right?
Yeah.
And welcome to the chamber. Welcome to the board. By the way, you're running the golf outing. Which has been fun. I can't say
how many years have you done it?
Oh God, when was the first year? Probably 2021 or 22 was the first year that I started running it.
'Cause that's a big event.
It wasn't. Back in the day, from what everybody tells me, it used to be. The first year I took it over, I think the prior year attendance was, and this may have been COVID driven, so it was about 40. I'm in a weird position this year. That the committee is in a weird position this year, and a little bit last year as well. We're having to tell people no for the first. Like, when is the last time you ran a fundraiser and you had to turn people away? Right. And Mike and Joyce and Greg and I, for years would run, and amongst several other people, and I don't mean to not mention them, but would run these, events for the Oasis. And I don't think we ever had to tell somebody, like, we don't have any more room. We've sold out. Right. So hats off to the committee that works on that, because it's been incredible. As we've grown within that to have to tell people that. I don't like doing it by any means.
No.
But yeah, it's been wonderful.
Wow. I'm going to tell you something that's funny, because I know somebody's listening that, that maybe isn't involved in the chamber, or they're like, this is bullshit. I listen to all this chamber stuff, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I tell you that I was not a believer in all of these things at all. I didn't know what the chamber did. I knew the people that were involved, but I never really, like, boots on the ground, like, got to see what they do. Yeah. But it's really cool. It's a good group of people that are doing really good things, that are donating their time to do good things.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, yourself among them, so don't sell yourself short on that either. But, Eli does a ton, right? So many other, local business owners. But again, it's the same cast of characters that have been involved with other organizations, even tangentially, right? Like, good people do good things. The number of projects that Mike Pruitt and I have worked on together, like, at one point it was the JCs, which is, I don't even think still around in Grayslake anymore. It was the Oasis, it was the Exchange Club, it was the chamber. But what Mary Beth and the leadership of the chamber have been able to build, essentially from ashes, has been just absolutely amazing.
It is amazing, and the group of people that are there, like, I choose my circle of friends pretty wisely, not wisely. I kind of like
evidence to the contrary.
I like hanging. Right? I like hanging out with certain people, right?
Yeah.
But for me to actually want to go to a chamber meeting or something because the people there are cool, is a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm an asshole or anything, but it's like one of those things that they're really good people, like-minded, that really are good.
Yeah.
Really good.
And a lot of different perspectives. We talked a little bit before about Team of Rivals, right? The book from when Abraham Lincoln was president. But, like, not everybody agrees on everything, but we manage to work through those to have productive results.
Yes.
And it's not like one just glob of human that just is a bunch of yes people, right? Everybody has their opinions, and we work through them and come to a workable solution. That is not easy to do.
No, and to have at the end of the road a successful events and
Yes,
successful.
yeah, and think about all of the events that are run, either by or with the chamber, that go off in this downtown area or around Grayslake that just
So
seem
many
to be just smashingly successful.
Yeah, which is really cool.
Yeah,
it is
absolutely.
really cool. Okay, so we're gonna about halfway through. I know that. So how many episodes of mine have you listened to?
Complete episodes. I listened to Joyce's to see what she had to say about me. And Joyce, yes, I heard you talking so glowingly about Zoe, and I'll fight Zoe over that.
Yeah.
So
She's waiting outside to fight. I would not, that is one woman I would not fight. By the
who,
way.
Zoe or Joyce?
So yes, yes is the answer to that.
No, I adore both of them.
Yes, no, they're both fantastic. So about halfway through, I do something we call the Grayslake Hot Seat.
Okay.
So some rapid fire questions to get to know you just a little bit better.
Ready to go.
The Grayslake Hot Seat is brought to you by Joe Velez at JPV Financial. It's often said that those who fail to plan are planning to fail. Joe Velez and his team at JPV Financial create unique financial plans that address some of the most difficult challenges that people might face as they get older. No matter what stage of life you're in, having a proactive financial plan can help navigate some of the difficult decisions you'll face, helping you live your life by design, not default. Securities and investment advisory service offered through Osaic Wealth Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Now for the Grayslake Hot Seat. Hey, thanks, Joe.
And go. A mixture of a bunch of different things. When you meet somebody, how does someone impress you?
Being genuine.
Genuine.
Be who you pretend to be.
Yes. I like that. Be who you pretend to be. I love that. Tell me something that's on your bucket list that you want to achieve.
Achievement?
Achieve or do or just cross off that list.
Achieve. I want to raise my 2 daughters to be good human beings. I would love to check off a bucket list of golf courses.
That's right, because you're the golf guy. Nice. Tell me somewhere you want to travel that you haven't been.
Scotland.
Nice.
New Zealand would be a close second.
Yeah. So far, of these 20 years that you've lived, because you're 20, 22, your life so far, what would, if it was a book, what would the title of that book be so far?
How did I get here? Or how did I get so lucky?
I like that, and very positive too. What's the last thing you Google searched?
Stand by.
Stand by.
Let's see here.
This I always think says a lot about somebody, either or what you know or what you don't know. I guess.
It could be how to get a claim settled with United.
Oh.
Trying to get back out of Florida. That is a great one. I closed the window. What was it? Let's go with that.
Okay.
I don't remember
How to
what it was.
Get a claim settled.
With United, yeah.
Do you have a boat? Do you know?
I do not have a boat.
If you had a boat, you have to name it, right? What would the name of your boat be? Or you probably have a yacht, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
no, it'd be a fishing boat. I should ask Jim Starwalt what a good boat name would be.
Yes.
Morning Glory.
Morning Glory. Like it.
No idea why I said that.
No, that's okay. You'll have to talk to your therapist about that. What kind of music do you listen to?
Whatever's playing. I am not somebody that has a specific music taste,
So
which drives everybody nuts.
Whatever's playing.
Whatever's playing, yeah. I mean, to be, I love audiobooks, and anything that can help me learn, broaden my horizons.
Love it. Are you street smarts or book smarts?
I think most people will tell you I'm book smarts.
Really? Okay, superpower. If you had to pick one superpower, what would it be?
Let's see here. Flight.
Flight is a good one. Here's my favorite one because everybody always has a very fond memory and no one has ever been like, oh, I don't know. First car you ever had?
It was a 1986 Ford Thunderbird.
Really? 86 Thunderbird. I'm trying to imagine what
it's what I could pay for with $500 cash. It was a POS, and it made so much noise driving down the road that I managed to attract the attention of every Grayslake police officer anytime I started it.
Really? That's awesome. So that was not a cool car.
No.
Okay.
No, my cool one was a Ford Taurus SHO.
Oh, nice.
With a 3.0 Yamaha.
Yeah, those are quick.
That was fun.
That's really fun. Would the 12-year-old version of yourself think you're cool?
Probably not.
All right. And then I always go back to 12-year-olds. Really think anybody's cool?
No, that's the crux of it. You pick 12. Maybe my 8 or 10-year-old self would, but
Okay. How old are your daughters?
7 and 10. Okay. So I'm coming up on
perfect
that
age. That's when the kids really still like us, right?
A little
they want to
bit.
hang out with us and do some. Yeah. I think it's really fun. Do you have a nickname?
None that people will say to my face.
well,
I'll find out afterwards, I'm sure.
Right now,
you tell me.
Text you. Do you have a hidden talent?
Oh God.
You're not like a juggler, or you play the piano, or
no. And while I do love golf, I'm not very good at it. It's sort of I get my money's worth in terms of the number of swings on the course.
Sure, I feel the same way. Why cheat yourself?
Exactly.
These guys are done in no time. What do you wish you learned sooner in life?
To appreciate the moments, and that goes back to what I was talking to about my dad.
Yeah.
Part of that tattoo that I was showing you.
Yeah.
That on there, it is a pink golf ball, which is sort of the story of my relationship with my dad. So I'm sorry, this isn't rapid fire. I don't know if you want to hear the whole thing now.
I'd actually love to hear it.
So when I was 17, 18 years old, he was teaching me how to play golf. It was when I first started. I had a little bit of a temper, as you might imagine at that age.
Sure.
We were playing Grayslake, and it was the 10th hole, and I was throwing a tantrum, behaving like a toddler. And he grabbed a pink golf ball, and he threw it down on the ground, and he said, until you can learn to act like a man, you're going to golf with this golf ball. Dave, I tried every which way to hit that ball into the woods, into the water. It would bounce off trees. It literally skimmed across the water. I could not lose that golf ball. I finished the round with that golf ball. No idea what I shot. I was extremely upset. I was very angry, not happy at all with, my jerk of a father, right? So we get into the clubhouse, which it's not much of a clubhouse over there, get a Gatorade and a Diet Coke for him. Mm-hmm. And he said, do you know why I made you do that? And I said, because you're a jerk. I was still mad.
Right.
And he said, we paid to be here. We're out here to have fun. You need to learn to appreciate the moments that you have with the people that you love while you still have them, because you never know when God's going to take it all away.
Wow.
That was one of those key moments in life where your dad says something and you finally get it. And I'm still trying to get it a little bit better every day. But when you talk about what do I wish I learned sooner, it is exactly that lesson. And every birthday and every holiday, every Christmas afterwards, we would exchange pink golf balls as like sort of a reminder of that. It was always the same golf balls because you could never be bothered to use them.
Of course.
So the golf balls would go back and forth between us. And at his funeral, instead of a bouquet of roses, I super glued together, or hot glued, a bouquet of pink golf balls. When we did the gender reveal for my oldest daughter, it was an ornament that is a pink golf ball that on it says "Cherish every moment."
Wow.
And if I could have learned that earlier.
Wow.
I don't think you can learn that lesson early enough in life.
No. And, I say to myself all the time with the kids, even when you get frustrated or things are happening or you have so many things in life that are so busy, right? Just slow down.
Yeah.
Right?
Take a deep breath.
Slow down, right? And just enjoy what's going on.
Yeah.
Because the things that may end up you think are really frustrating, you're going to miss the hell out of sometime in your life, right?
Well, then tragedy plus time equals comedy, right?
Right.
The thing that really made you angry in that moment is going to make you laugh 2 years from now.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's so hard to remember. It seems like such an easy life lesson, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but it's a big one, though.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. People are always thinking of what they have to do, right? What are you going to do next? What are you going to do next? What are you going to do tomorrow? Instead of just live in the moment and just breathe and
be where your feet are.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Sorry, that's not rapid fire at all. I ruined that.
No, but you know what? And that's why I love doing this, because you know what? I always say that I love doing podcast things because it centers you, right? You learn something every day, or it's a reminder of humanity, so to say. These are the things that everybody deals with that we need reminders. So I appreciate you saying that. Yeah. And while we're talking about really serious things too, have you ever eaten a roller dog from a gas station?
Yes, across the street from Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
There's some of the best. That 7-Eleven over there. I don't even know if it's still there.
I don't think it's there anymore.
But that's where we used to, because you could take them into the ballpark.
Wow. Yes.
So when I was 18, 19 years old, you bet.
Yeah, because they were a hell of a lot cheaper over there, too.
Yeah, you can grab one from there and then go and sit in the bleachers.
See, yeah. We got the whole roller dog onto another thing. If you and your wife had a theme party at your house, what would it be?
At this stage of our life, it'd probably be a Disney-related thing, I'm sure, just with the kids being
How about for an adult party?
Oh, God.
I still do Disney.
Yeah, I think it'd probably still be Disney because all of our friends are parents of small children, too.
Right.
So,
1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
My driving app tells me my wife will subtract at least 20 percentage points from this number. That's the wrong app. It says Ryan drives like a grandma.
Which would make it a high.
It says, come on. So anywhere between 88 and 98 out of 100.
Wow.
So.
All right. Does it actually give you the other things you need to improve on?
Yeah. Apparently, I need to not accelerate so fast.
Oh, that's no fun. Coming from one of your favorite cars you had, you don't take me as that guy anyway.
So my phone distraction is good though. So Bluetooth is working. So when I listen to your podcast, I'm doing it on hands-free.
This is good.
Most people have no idea what to do with their aging loved one who needs help. Well, there is a solution. A company that provides care and assistance to make your loved one feel right at home. At Right at Home, their mission statement is to improve the quality of life for those they serve. They offer extensive services: personal and companion care, safety supervision and transportation, fall prevention, dressing and bathing assistance, medical reminders, meal prep, hospice support, ambulation support, stroke recovery, Parkinson's support. The list goes on and on and on. If you have an aging loved one that needs help, call Right at Home. Most people prefer to age in their home rather than moving to an assisted living or nursing home. Right at Home can make this happen. Contact Right at Home at rightathomenlc.com or give them a call, 847-984-0103. Now back to the show.
Hey, bartender, can I have a
whiskey neat?
All right.
But generally speaking, though,
yeah.
Soda water and lime. I'm a boring guy, man.
Nah, it doesn't make you boring. It makes you smart.
Less susceptible to coming onto a podcast.
Exactly. And speaking of being smart and responsible, tell me about the second time you got arrested.
The second time I got arrested?
Yeah. You don't have to answer.
No, I don't have a second time I got arrested.
That's good.
Or,
some people just freely answer and tell me.
The second time I got arrested, no, I'm just joking. Yes. There's nothing. I got nothing for you.
Okay, so we're gonna do one last one, which it'll be a fun one, And then maybe we should tell people what you do for a living, how you can help them. I'd like to get to know members of the community.
You know what? You haven't given me an opportunity to throw any shade at Mike yet. I'm kind of disappointed.
I want to know, how do you remember the moment that you and Mike Pruitt locked eyes? And because you guys have a very good friendship, and I would like to know.
Yeah, he's like a brother to me.
Oh no. So how do you guys meet?
Yeah. So it's the Oasis. It's the same way that Greg Henkin and I met. Joyce wrangled all of us onto that board, and thought we would be helpful, and we end up working together, and we really hit it off. When I'm going to take you to another sad place here. I just keep doing that. I don't mean to. When Mike and I became really good friends, when he became a brother to me, was the day that my dad died. He was out in McHenry in the hospital. He had gotten a cold while he was on chemo. And I had been out to see him earlier that day. But if you remember back in 2011, that giant snowstorm that was like 2 feet of snow and, just ridiculous winds. I had a Toyota Corolla, and they said, you need to get here now. And I lived at that time, right down the street from Mike. And it took us 3 hours. But between him and his brother Brad, in 2 different vehicles, from Grayslake, Round Lake Beach at the time, to go get my mom, to then get over to be able to say goodbye in time. It was 3 hours of driving, watching, car after car, in the ditch, pushing his Jeep, out of stuck spots. It was in that crucible, that, we became as close as we are. And I will never forget, what he did for my family that day, and he's been every bit as good to us since then. There's nothing that Mike Pruitt could ever do to make me not love the hell out of him. He can be an asshole, but so can I. I love the hell out of that man. I would do anything for him. Not anything.
Well, when we started talking we were just chatting before we started to record, because this is a Grayslake podcast. What do you think that Mike has done to shape our town, to shape our community?
Yeah, well, that's a loaded question. That's a lot there.
Yeah.
He has done a lot. And even if you go back to when his father and the Vine Partners opened up the Vine, there wasn't a ton of activity in downtown Grayslake. I don't want to overblow anybody's contributions to making it be what it is, but look at it now. There's just so much going on. It's vibrant. It's everything you want in a downtown area. And I don't think you can appreciate that enough because it is so rare.
Yeah. So their decision to open that changed a lot of things, or opened doors too, right?
I think so. Yeah. And it's worked out well that other people have followed suit, right? And have taken their own risks and opening their own restaurants and businesses and making the most out of the downtown Grayslake, because each one of them helps build on each other. And, I believe they all work together really well, even in situations where you might think there's, competition, like the level of cooperation seems to always exceed the level of competition, and I think that's a wonderful thing. And that doesn't happen without all of them.
No, and that healthy competition, if you want to call it that,
absolutely,
I believe rises everybody up, right?
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Mike's done a lot of special things, and you look back and you're like, because time, the older I get, it seems like you snap your fingers and just things like you don't remember how things used to be, or maybe we take for granted how great things are today. But it wasn't always like that, and little by little, there's people and businesses that have made big changes, and he's one of the guys that has.
Yeah, well, and just like we talked about with the Oasis, Joyce is the driving force behind that, but it takes an entire army. I could sit here all day listing the number of people that helped to make that a reality, and I still would miss 50% of them. The village is just amazing. I don't know. There's not enough positive words I can say.
Right. Who's a better golfer?
Me or Mike?
Yeah.
It depends on the day.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to hands down. I'll kick his ass any day.
No, we have fun. When we play together, we have fun.
Yeah. Well, every golfing picture I see with it's you guys having fun, or you guys are out here.
Yeah, it's hard to have a bad time. It's hard to have a bad time out there. They say a bad day on the golf course is better than a good day in the office. So
this is very true. Anything else you want? I know that we could do a whole podcast just about Mike.
Yeah, we could, but nobody want to listen anymore.
Any secrets that people shouldn't know about Mike that we should broadcast, or maybe something unique about him because he's.
I think the people who know him well know this, so I'm not telling them anything they don't know. He is somebody that will run through a wall for you if you need him to, and he has as big a heart as anybody. He has a tough exterior from time to time, and he is very protective of the people and the things that he cares about, which I admire about him. But he is very, very truly a very kind person, and I think that's what everybody should always know there. I talked earlier, be who you pretend to be. Right. He is who he pretends to be.
Yeah, I have always admired and call him friend, just to see that all the stuff he does. But man, anybody that looks at any business owners that maybe catches people on a bad day or anything, I'm not specifically talking about Mike or anything, because I have bad days.
Yeah,
but man,
we all do.
You go into a restaurant and somebody that owns a restaurant or a business and things are just going haywire, whether it's the weather or
the amount of X factors that can happen in that
rush,
business.
I have employees calling in.
Understand all of that.
Yeah, and they juggle everything, but he's one of those guys almost always smiling, slap you on the back. Hey brother, how are you?
He does genuinely care. Yes. I think that people should know that.
Yeah.
He's very passionate.
Yes. And he's the reason that he was the podcast #1 that I did. When I wanted to start this, when I wanted to do it, I wanted to start with Mike.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him. I appreciate his friendship too. So
yeah.
He's an all right dude.
I was going to say, we've been gushing about him. I kind of feel like we need to bring him down a few pegs too.
Yeah, we'll tell him.
We'll do that in private though.
I'll just cut this part out. Because he's listening, waiting, going, those jerks didn't say anything. They didn't even make fun of me yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ryan, what kind of business do you run? How can do you have a service that you can offer our community?
Yeah, I have an insurance agency in downtown. It's right kitty corner from the fire station, right across from Whitney Street Restaurant, another great restaurant in town.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that side of things, I didn't come to do this so that I could talk about that, but I take the same approach there that I take in the rest of my life. If there's something that I can do to help you, then I'm going to do that. If I don't think I am the right person to help you, if I don't think the fit is right, I will tell you as much. And I have had those conversations. But whether it's me or my team, we're going to do everything we can to put you in a position to succeed and to protect you and your family. So if there is something that we can do to help anybody, whether it's business related or not, that's really what we're there for.
So just so people know, when we talk about insurance like that, are we talking car insurance, house insurance, life insurance, like what?
Yes, all of the above, business, all of it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm a terrible salesperson when it comes to that stuff. I have this weird fault of just telling the truth.
Yeah.
If sometimes being long-winded about it.
Yeah.
But if there's a promise that I can make, it's that we'll shoot you straight.
Right. Well, I used to say, when we used to say we were terrible salesmen, running DJ business for 30 years, because I would just tell people straight out, hey, if we're not what you want, and you just go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to have your business,
yeah.
but if we're not the right fit, like, go.
Yeah, it's not going to make anybody happy in the long run.
Right.
Find the right fit for you, and I think that holds true for just about every business interaction, right? Yeah. Or personal interaction.
Absolutely.
Don't try to force it. If it works, it works.
Right. And after, I don't even know how many episodes we've done on this, 150.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I really want to do it is to highlight business owners, highlight people in the community, because if you're somebody that I know, like, and trust, I want to do business with you.
Yeah.
But I do want to know, I know that the story of your father, like me and you have a connection that I have with my mother, you had with your father, that if people like you and genuinely know that they can trust you and know your story,
yeah.
I like that people come and spend their money in Grayslake
yeah.
with people that they admire and maybe they know a little about that are very like-minded. So
yeah.
I think it works great.
Yeah.
And I thank you for being vulnerable about stuff like that, because it's a big deal, man.
Yeah, I mean, but by the same token, like you said, we've all lived some version of that.
Sure. Yeah, there's tragedy. There's great things that happen to us, and hopefully that all of these things, that some of the things that may seem bad at first are not tragedies like death, but things that turn to shit in your life, but then maybe there's a reason it did, and then it turns out great.
There's an old parable about exactly that, where it's an old farmer, right, that there's a series of things that happens, and I could find the exact thing, but somebody keeps saying, oh, that's so bad. Maybe. Oh, that's so great. Maybe. But like each thing sort of happens back and forth, and you don't know if that's a bad or a good thing in the moment. It can feel a certain way, but at the end of the day, we don't know where our journeys lead. Right. So,
and that's why, like we've talked about before, about taking time to breathe, enjoying the moments. Not everything is perfect. And my one I live by is just don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah. Amen.
Because nobody takes us that seriously. Right. So why should you take yourself that seriously?
Right.
Now, I may go overboard, not taking myself too seriously sometimes, but it's fun. Enjoy your life, right?
Yeah.
And good things happen to good people.
Yeah.
We just take care of each other.
Yeah.
I like that me and you are very like-minded on what a great town that we live in, and it's not by accident either, right? There's a lot of people.
Well, for me, it is.
Great things.
I didn't do any of this on purpose.
Your whole thing is accident, right? But our whole town, and we also talked about, and we won't even go down the road, but you and I had a small conversation about local officials, whether there are trustees, whether there are mayors, the chief of police, like all of these things, about how the least amount of people come out to vote for probably the most important things that affect every single one of us. So next time there's something to vote for, or to
I mean, you got to start at home first, right? You got to be local. And Zoe, I love you. You're amazing. I'll still fight you over Joyce's attention.
Yeah, and I think it would take this opportunity to tell people to get involved too, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's joining an exchange club or just getting out, and just your opinion matters, right? And in a small community, you can make a difference.
Yeah.
Positively or negatively.
Like if you're going to have an opinion, have an act, right? Yes. So if you feel strongly, do something, right?
Yes.
Opinions are cheap and easy.
Right.
Like put some work into it.
Yeah.
If
I tell my kids,
put it in the world.
Do something.
Yeah.
Right? You don't like it?
Yeah.
Do something.
That Nike swoosh.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else you want to mention before we close out?
I've talked forever on this. I don't know that I've talked
we've been good.
This much in a while. But no, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I hope that some of this helps somebody.
Sure.
But it was nice to talk and have a little bit of a therapy session.
Sure,
so I appreciate that.
Great. And now everybody knows.
Yeah, exactly.
I always say that the best podcast, I forget who it was. I think it was Rhett, former mayor.
Yeah.
It's great when he left, because when he left, he says, hey, I said something to the fact that I forgot the microphone was on, because it was just two dudes sitting down talking.
Well,
and he's a great guy,
and
right?
100%. No, he's not wrong.
Yeah, and it's awesome. So I appreciate you very much.
Job.
And
thank
you. And I wish you the best with everything, too.
Same for you.
Grayslake, do me a favor, wherever you guys are listening, do me a favor, whether you're on Apple, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on YouTube, wherever you're listening, do me a favor and subscribe. So that way, every Tuesday, you will get an alert of a new guest that comes on. And we talked about it a little bit before. Listen to the people that you don't know. I think it's so important to get to know people in our community. That's why hopefully the show works, because it brings people together. And as we always end to get out there. We never know what our family, our friends, even a stranger on the street's going through. So 1-2 little random acts of kindness today. Make somebody smile, hold the door for somebody. Just say good morning. It can change everything. So, and that spreads like wildfire, because then they might do it for somebody else. So make our town a better place, make the world a better place. So, Ryan, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate
you guys very much. And we'll see you next Tuesday, everybody.
Thanks.